Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, after a 5-year lull, police promotions are announced. Ahead tonight, Prime Minister Ingram on the ever-changing organization of the police force. BTC employees demonstrate as contract talks heat up. And women's suffrage celebrates 50 years. All those stories and more straight ahead in the Bahamas tonight.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, after months of interviews, reviews and consultation, the Royal Bahamas Police Force has begun its first promotional exercise in 5 years. After consultation with the Police Promotion Board, the Commissioner of Police announced that 260 officers were promoted. That number includes 125 corporals who were promoted to the rank of sergeant and 135 constables who were promoted to the rank of corporal, all with effect from January 1st, 2012. This past weekend, Prime Minister Hubert Ingram addressed the restructuring exercise. Clint Watson reports.
Prime Minister Hubert Ingram says the latest Royal Bahamas Police Force promotions were necessary because there hasn't been any for 5 years.
Now the force is going to promote a significant number of officers so that we can begin to have a structure, so I don't go to a place and find that there's a superintendent here, and the next man to him is an inspector, or go someplace and find an assistant superintendent in charge, and his next man down the line is a sergeant, because the force has never been designed to work in that fashion.
Mr. Ingram also pointed out that while the process has been abused in the past, allegedly because of political reasons, they will seek to reestablish the police force as a properly structured entity. And while that may mean scrutinizing officers for promotion, it will certainly not eliminate promotions.
Around 6 out of every 10 officers on the force need to be a constable. And that you constantly and continuously recruit persons to be constables. And that you promote out of the constable ranks those who show promise of leadership. And they go up to corporal and then to sergeant, and each time one group goes up, they create vacancies for others, etc., etc.
The Prime Minister says the police force is about rank and file, but what the PLP reportedly did when they were in power, according to Mr. Ingram, was a disastrous ploy for political reasons.
To promote en masse without regard to need, without regard to placement, so that you have some places that have far more corporals than they could use and too few constables. And the same thing applies at the sergeant level. So what we are seeking to do is to have a structured force, to return the force to a structure.
He says an international review suggested that the ranks of chief inspector and chief superintendent be eliminated. However, when the PLP came to power, they reinstated those ranks. Mr. Ingram says they are depopulating those ranks again to ensure the force has a recommended structure. Most of the individuals have either moved up or retired. The Prime Minister also noted that there were 5 senior assistant commissioners of police and 5 assistant commissioners of police for a total of 11, when the force only needed its present amount of 5. What was done by the previous administration, according to Mr. Ingram, has caused great harm to the force and its effectiveness. Regrettably, he says, it will take some time to straighten out. Clint Watson, ZNS News.
Prime Minister Ingram has told Long Island residents that in another week, the Water and Sewage Corporation will carry out $3.6 million of work to upgrade water service on the island. He also announced plans for a new airport at Desmond Key and an expansion of health care with a new mini-hospital, all within another 5 years should another F&M administration be elected. Shanique Miller was in Long Island covering the opening of the F&M constituency headquarters there.
It's a bedrock constituency for the Free National Movement, Long Island, a community of voters that have always voted F&M. Last night, they threw their support behind the first woman seeking to represent the Central Bahamas stronghold for the governing party. They heard from the party's leader on the F&M's 5-year plan for Long Island. But more importantly, they wanted concerns addressed, including poaching, an outdated airport, cable TV for the entire island, potable water, and employment. The answers and plans came from Aviation Minister Vincent Vanderpool Wallace and National Security Minister Tommy Turnquest.
Papa is going to deliver a full-fledged international airport here in Long Island, and a full-fledged, state-of-the-art, second to none, new terminal here for people to be able to land to.
Are you serious?
Has been agreed, delivered.
Are you serious?
Absolutely serious.
The Royal Bahamas Defense Force will increase its maritime and aerial surveillance. I want you to know, Long Island fishermen, that we are serious about what we're doing, and we're going to continue to do it until we ensure that our marine resources are fully protected.
Loretta Butler Turner is no stranger to Long Island. She's a granddaughter of the soil. In fact, many supporters say they requested her candidacy. Already on the ground, Butler Turner formally sought their support.
I want to tell you tonight that not only are you getting your fixed line this week, but that we had BTC and the head of BTC in Long Island just last week to ensure that your phone lines and your DSL is delivered. And Long Island, I'm going to tell you, together, we're going to achieve great things.
As he delivered the keynote address, Prime Minister Ingram didn't come empty-handed. He told residents on this island that have always supported the F&M how his government will have sustained development on the island over the next 5 years.
The pre-bid meeting for companies placing bids for the Solar Pond Water Project will take place within the next 7 to 10 days. In fact, they should come down to Long Island tomorrow or the next day. Those works will include the installation of 11 miles of new water mains, 5 miles of new distribution water lines, and 6 transmission stations between Grays and Salt Pond. A new storage tank and booster tank will be installed, and the RO plant at Deadman's Key will be expanded. And the government has committed to make available to the Water and Sewage Corporation $3.6 million.
Ingram affirmed the F&M is the party with a long-range vision for Long Island, evident by works in the past 5 years, docks, schools, seawalls, and upgrades to the Stella Maris Airport. Next, he said, expanded health care.
We'll build you a small community hospital.
The National Job Readiness Program goes to Long Island in another week. Applications have already been approved for the Jumpstart program. Shanique Miller, ZNS News.
Progressive Liberal Party leader Perry Christie had more criticism for the Free National Movement government as he addressed a constituency headquarters opening in Golden Gates last night. Saying that he wanted to stay focused on national issues, Mr. Christie employed the large group of supporters at the PLP's so-called Gold Rush event not to believe what he called Free National Movement lies. Altaviz Munnings was there.
The election is all about serious issues and big things. That's how Progressive Liberal Party leader Perry Christie feels. He maintains, though, that the Free National Movement government doesn't believe in Bahamians. He attributed this to the lies Mr. Christie says the F&M continues to portray to Bahamians about the PLP.
Bahamians, the PLP wants this election to be about big things, about giving a new generation of Bahamians the access to the best training, the best technology, the best education, about using every resource we can to reduce violence and change lives.
At the PLP's Gold Rush event Monday night, Christie informed the large group of supporters that the PLP will win the election fair and square. Just hours after Monday's parliamentary session, he reiterated his party's stance on the review of the Public Accounts Committee report of the New Providence Road Improvement Project. He also touched on voter fraud in North Andros.
The PLP has no interest, not interested at all in flying people who are not qualified to vote in Andros to vote in Andros. We are going to win Andros without flying people in.
Deputy Leader Philip Brave Davis agrees.
We need to tell them that a few weeks of promises cannot make up for 4+ years of pain and suffering. We need to tell them that we want a government that governs all the time.
Progressive Liberal Party's candidate for the Golden Gates constituency, Shane Gibson, also criticized the Free National Movement by telling PLP supporters that the governing party has mounted an attack against him, but it won't work.
They invent lies. They try to justify their record of failure
with lies about us. But the truth is a beautiful thing.
Progressive Liberal Party officials believe once they secure Southern Providence and constituencies like Golden Gate, they will be elected as the next government of the Bahamas. I'm Altavis Munnings, ZNS News.
North Andros MP Desmond Bannister says people who neither live or work in the North Andros constituency are registering there. In fact, he says 36 people are now under investigation, with as many as 100 more under suspicion. The FNM's candidate for North Andros, Desmond Bannister, is speaking out on the issue, hoping to stop what he claims is voter planting and at the same time create a level playing field so that the people of North Andros can fairly vote for the candidate of their choice. Shanique Miller has more.
It's a polarized constituency and the only one in the country where there has been reported election-related violence. Yet, in 2012, trouble is brewing as new allegations surface that political operatives in North Andros are busy registering people to secure a victory at the polls for one party in particular.
I am prepared to provide the names of the PLP operatives who have been flying unqualified persons into Andros free of charge to register to vote in that constituency. I've also informed the Parliamentary Commissioner of the fact that one of the persons who was involved in the process of registering voters in the constituency holds a post of responsibility in the local PLP branch and has campaigned in our PLP regalia while involved in the registration process. One need only look at her Facebook postings during the time that she was involved in the registration process to see that this person could not be fair, could not be unbiased or dispassionate in carrying out her duties.
Bannister says already the names of 36 people who are suspected of registering in North Andros and living elsewhere have been submitted to the Parliamentary Registration Department's office. An additional 115 reportedly suspected of the same are to be investigated. Bannister says there's good reason for his suspicion.
In recent weeks, we have witnessed persons who are resident in New Providence and Grand Bahama being flown to Andros to register to vote. These persons have taken an oath and have been registered to vote in the North Andros and Berry Islands constituency. This is an act of deception that can lead to prosecution, and it is an act that we will expose in the interest of protecting our vibrant Bahamian democracy.
Now, Bannister and his team will know in 14 days whether their suspicions are valid. That is when a hearing will be held.
I have noted the comments of the leader of the official opposition, the Right Honourable Perry Gladstone Christie, at his geriatric gathering in Andros on Friday night. I welcome his comment that the Parliamentary Commissioner should probe the registration process and turn over his findings to the police immediately. In the spirit of cooperation, I am prepared to assist Mr. Christie.
Bannister says already he knows of at least 2 people who live and work in the capital. One reportedly works at a pharmacy and the other a security officer. ZNS News spoke with the DNA's candidate, Randy Butler, as well. Butler confirmed hearing about people registering illegally in North Andros and said he too has teams investigating the voter register. Meantime, PLP leader Perry Christie has gone on record more than once, stating that his party has no interest in planting voters or doing anything untoward in the upcoming elections. Shanique Miller, ZNS News.
More industrial tension has reached a boiling point. This time, some 250 Bahamas Telecommunications Company workers held a lunchtime demonstration at their JFK office. President of the Bahamas Communications and Public Officers Union, Bernard Evans, says they demonstrated as a show of solidarity while rejecting part of a management proposal which includes a 4% salary increase offer.
For the last 2 months, we've been back and forth, and the main contention really is the percentage increase that we've been asking for. And so they seem to say that they can't afford it, but what we have seen and our figures have shown that they can afford more than what we're asking for. And so the members are tired. We've been waiting a long time, and so hence we thought we'll come here and show our strength, our unity, and we see what happens now.
Now, executives of the union last met with management last week, and another meeting is reportedly set for Thursday. Secretary General of the union, Denise Wilson, says the union is standing firm.
While the spirit of negotiations is cordial, we are at an impasse. Because there are certain things that we want that the company is saying it's not sustainable for them to give it to us. Well, we want a different percentage rate than what they're offering. They're offering us 4%. We find that repugnant. And I'm repulsed by the fact that they're offering such a small amount, given the fact that they've gone on the media, on record as saying that the company has made so much money and has done so well in such a short time. So they're asking for certain articles to be bought out, but they want to tell us what they will pay rather than ask us what we will sell it for.
Well, in response to the union's lunchtime meeting with staff at the company's headquarters, reportedly to indicate the union's position on management's contract proposal to the company's non-management union, BTC's CEO Jeff Houston restated that the singular ambition of BTC is to shape an organizational structure and labor agreement that is customer and performance-driven and anchored by a market-leading employee proposition. Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, reaction to the $65 million addition to the road construction bill. That story's after the break.